I can't see board. Oh, there we go. What's up, villains? Take off your shoes, have a smoke, cure what ails you, maybe a drink, take some LSD. This is gonna be amazing. What we have here is your best idea that Villainous Cinema has ever had. Oh, also, welcome to Villainous Cinema as well, too. I'm joined once again by Nicky. Nicky?
Hey guys, how you doing? It is a beautiful Saturday evening, just as usual.
Yeah, we actually did have I had a better opening for that too, but I didn't do it the right way. Anyways, but welcome to Villa Cinema, and we are supported by people just like you. So smash that subscribe button because it helps out our algorithm. And we also, if you could, pledge to our Patreon account, in which case we get all these like beautiful lights on. They're all around me. We're actually like this time we do have Nicky taking over this part of the podcast, but we are supported by you. So if you don't want to support us monetarily, just hit the like button and help us out like with that. Unless you don't like anything that Nicky says, and then just like hit the dislike button or anything like that.
Yeah, but that still helps us.
But it still helps.
And
But yeah, it's like oh no, that's terrible. It's like oh yeah,
so,
but at least they're watching. But here's the
okay.
other part. I want to say this. We love all of you. Thanks for being here and all of our longtime fans. Like, share, subscribe, enjoy. Tell anyone that you hate or the people that you love that this podcast exists and it is now in visual format. And you get to see what our stupid faces look like. And with that, Nicky, would you like to tell what this new format is all about?
Most definitely, I would like to tell you guys what this new format is about. But before I get into this,
And I'm on this side too.
before I get into that, I am going to just say that whether you like us or you hate us, I am giving an open call invite to anyone that I merit to be valuable for our audience. Anyone can come on. Okay? DM, put in the request, put in your comments, tell us why you want to be on the show, and we will take you into consideration. 150% absolute. Okay? So
that's absolutely true. By the way, probably me more than Nicky, but go on.
okay, so getting into it, I'm really excited because this is our very first episode.
Yeah,
We
well,
are
tell the people what it's all about. What do you got planned for everybody?
we are doing our movie breakdown from now on, once a month. At the end of every month, we will be doing a movie breakdown where we take one cult classic or we take one new released film and we break it down for you step by step in all the processes, why we love it, why we hate it, why it's bad, why it's good, so on. And I'm going to be going down all the different categories. And of course, like always, we're going to be joking around and shitting around here.
I couldn't put any better myself, but I myself will also say this is that I know that there's well, whatever small group of people that watch or listen to our podcast, in which case we love you. And thank you so much for even watching this video or even get this far. But the thing about this one is that it's kind of like an odd take because Villainous Cinema has cult classics, B movies, and VHS trash that we watch so you don't have to, and you get it on all your iTunes and Spotify and every single place that you find your favorite podcasts. That's a cheap plug. But it's cheap because I paid for it. But here's the other part is that with this one is that what's kind of different about this, and that Nicky brought this up, and one of the things that people actually like about watching us discuss these movies is that we come from like you come from over there and I come from over here. It's like, but like I enjoy talking a lot of shit about movies that suck. In my opinion, though, but I also think they're kind of awesome in a lot of ways. So I always highlight that. But you, on the other hand, want to talk about movies that we deem good. which are also called classics. And so this is a really cool format for all of us to talk about the finer things as far
Yes,
as these movies go.
I prefer talking about movies that I enjoy. I prefer watching movies that I enjoy. I prefer watching good movies personally. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
this does not mean that we've ruled out the possibility of bringing on a film just solely for the factor of ragging on it. Okay, that's totally within the realm of possibility. But
In which I think at the end of this too, we're going to rattle off and ask everyone else which of these two movies that Nikki or I have picked. I think is that what we're doing at the end of
yeah,
this?
I mean, I
I think
think that
right, and we're like,
we're gonna definitely ask the
because I
crowd.
think we've also, yeah,
We're gonna ask the crowd what they think, and me
and I
and
think we
Evan, within the course of this video, we're also gonna be forced to think of, a possible movie that we're gonna break down next month. Okay.
okay.
So
All right. So what I'm saying is that at the end of this, when we're doing our sign offs, we're gonna ask you guys which one out of these two that we not to pull back the curtain too far, but we did talk about this beforehand because I was like, I don't know how it's gonna work. And then we said it, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And I was like, what if we added this? And I said like at the end. So you guys are actually gonna be able to sway our opinions on whatever Nikki's thought for the next breakdown will be, or whatever my thought for the next one.
yeah. Also, let us know how you like this format. Like, let us
Yeah,
know
also,
how this
yeah,
is totally the
this might be
pilot
really good though.
episode of what we're gonna make this
It's Nicky's idea.
breakdown. So
Yeah, I give him a full responsibility whether it's successful or
okay. So
yeah,
anyway, we're gonna get
right.
right into it.
Let's
Okay.
do it, baby.
And I thought since this is our pilot episode, we're gonna start it out with a nice classic cult movie. Okay. The granddaddy Clockwork Orange. La Bam. Okay.
Okay, so our pilot episode of Breakdown is Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange.
Absolutely. I had to start
You know
out
what?
with something
You know what? I'm
big.
in. You know what? I'm in. I have this on VHS somewhere.
You know, I had to make it big. I had to make it something with the big cult following. I had to make it something that people were gonna enjoy seeing a new perspective. And hey, it's Kubrick. It's Clockwork Orange. Like, how can you go wrong? Like,
I
anyway.
mean, only way that you can mess up or fuck up a Kubrick movie is like if like there's like a scratch on the DVD.
No, I know how you fuck it up by remaking them.
Oh
That's
wait.
why they've never been remade.
Oh, don't say that. Hey, knock on wood on that one, man. Yo, you do not need to put that ether out there because they will fucking do it.
Dude, Kubrick's got too much of a fan club, like in a
They're
sense.
trying.
Like,
There's like so much shit I've been reading for like the past like what 30 years that they're trying to remake the Goonies. Fuck that. Leave that shit alone.
have you heard of this shit that
Make up something new. You
Nolan was
know?
gonna
Fuck.
Nolan was
Like
gonna try and remake 2001? Anyway, we're spacing out here. Okay.
whoa, oh, that's gotta bring me to at the end here. That's a
Yeah.
bit follow.
We'll talk about that later. I
Because
don't
you
know
know,
when
you
this
already
movie
know, but
was.
you already fucking know what I'm talking about. You already know what I'm talking about. You know what
No,
I'm
I
talking
don't.
about. He knows what I'm talking about. Are you on that
But
side or this? You on that side?
anyway, so we're gonna get straight into it. The
Let's roll.
Clockwork.
Let's
And
roll, baby.
I'm starting with my new section.
Okay.
It is the most basic of all the sections. It is why do you love it or why do you hate it? Okay.
Shit. Oh, that's my fault.
So
Did you
Evan,
hear that? Oh, did you hear that?
what? No,
Sorry about that.
I didn't hear
Oh, good.
shit.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, my thing just exploded. My earphones. What's up? I'm trying to open my IMDb to cheat.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so tell me, I'm gonna start with you. Why do you love it or why do you hate it?
What, the movie A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with why I love it, because that's gonna be a lot, easier. Well, not Lyle Lovett. He wasn't in that movie. Um, why I love it. All right, so when I was a child, I was like my brother like introduced me to that movie. Like he's introduced me to some cool shit. Back when I was a kid. It kind of like helped me out with how I was dealing with certain things. How I was dealing with whatever. You know, but I always like he was like, yeah, the only problem with this movie is how there's no camaraderie, right? And as a kid, I was like, yeah, of course you want to keep your fucking crew together. And as a kid, when you're growing up, it's like 12, 13, you just want a crew to roll with. And then I watched this movie and I saw like all the subtleties that were in there, to where it's like, what happens when your crew turns their back on you? You know, it's like, are you forced to fend for yourself? And then you have to look at the societal structure of dystopian society that's like completely abrupt. Like it's like it, I mean, there's no setup for it. You're just thrust into it and you're like, well, now I have to live as these characters. And to see how they have to fight against other gangs and stuff like that. They have very reputable actions too, but then you have to work back to are they a product of their society or are they a product of something else? And that's basically what the whole entire thing went through. And when I started looking at the story, I was like, holy shit, it's fucking perfect. Like, but I never saw it translated from Russian. I think it's like a Russian novel. I'm not sure. I can look that up. Yeah, and then yeah, so like yeah, with that, like I started like exploring it a little bit more, and I was like, oh man, it's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. And of course, Stanley Kubrick. He sells the entire universe. Like you cannot remake this movie. Speaking of remakes, if they ever fucking tried, don't you fucking Hollywood assholes try to fucking remake Clockwork Orange. Don't fucking do it. Don't even give it a sequel. Just forget about it. Okay? It's gone.
It's
Yes.
gone.
It's off the plate.
It's off.
It's on the floor. The dog's eating it.
Um,
Anyways, whatever.
so I have
But
to
yeah,
actually
that's what I
say,
love. Why do you love it?
I actually have to say that, like when I first saw it, I didn't enjoy it. Like I've always been a big Kubrick fan, and I remember seeing it when there was some year, like about a year into film school or something like that. Anyway, like but then later I started watching it, and I really enjoy it now that I watch it. Okay. And I realized, like, I it wasn't that I disliked it because it was a bad film. I disliked it because it has such an eerie, tense emotion to it. Okay. It's not a comfortable film to
Well,
watch.
it's all Kubrick's films though.
You know, it's not a comfortable thing to watch. Like it puts you in this really it makes you it gives you a bad perspective of humanity. Okay?
Well, yeah, it's like
And
a dystopian future though. I mean, like but it's one of the first ones too.
yeah.
Because I mean, it came out way before Mad Max. Came out way before Judge Dredd. I mean, all these dystopian futures is like this one was way before.
Yeah, and it's such an eerie like feeling. Like Kubrick has this way of um like almost joining the world and the character together in this creepy way that they're
Yeah, like
almost
I mean, a lot of it,
undistinguishable
a
separation.
lot of it has to do with the soundtrack, and I think like when we think about soundtracks, we don't think about like soundtracks the same way that we usually do. when we're watching either A, a Coen Brothers movie, or B, Stanley Kubrick movie. And then in which case, when we get into those sort of realms, it's like kind of the absence of the soundtrack that kind of makes it eerie, you know? Because like, like a lot of people do like pen drops or something like that, and they're like, oh, let's play fucking, Smash Mouth, or fucking Nickelback or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is
Like,
that people play,
I
like,
think it's.
hey, now you're an all-star. But it's like, yeah, it's like the absence of shit like that that makes it like really cool, I think. That's me.
I mean, like, it's just everything. Like, I mean, we're gonna get into like a couple of different, like, more specific sectors. Um, but as far as like why I hate it, it's why I love it, it's just such an
Oh,
eerie and
yeah. Are we still talking? Are we still like in the why we hate it? Because I don't really hate it. I think the way that like I hate it would be the way that it's lampooned, you know. And in which case, like, and I'll say this like flat out, like I think we did our Stanley Kubrick movies too.
yeah,
So if anyone wants to go backwards, I mean, like, Clockwork Orange was, I think it was like, I think I was like his fifth best, and I'm like, I don't know, fifth best, like, but he's done like a lot of shit before that. But you know what? I'd fucking watch Clockwork Orange in a heartbeat before 2001. So it's nothing against Kubrick for that,
no, no, no,
you know.
no, I
But
understand.
yeah, it's a
Like,
great movie. Yeah,
like 2001 is a really difficult movie to watch.
yeah, it's fucking long as shit too.
Yeah, but anyway,
I mean,
so I'm gonna
don't
get
get me wrong. I mean, like,
into.
it's not, no, it'd be like two. Hey, we're gonna watch an entire series, and all of them are about a block a piece. It's like, fuck, man, it's like 8 hours. Like, what is that, miniseries? It's like, yeah, we call it a miniseries now, but it used to be broken up into a trilogy that we used to
Yeah.
release. Anyways, man, things are different these days.
So I'm
Um,
gonna
anyways,
go
go on.
straight into the first like semi section here, which is gonna be story and character. Okay. I think the story of Clockwork Orange was just phenomenal in the sense of like so many different ways. Like you said, that camaraderie that's broken, and like the world dystopian, and him being trapped, and the whole eye thing, and like Jesus, man, like
Wait,
what he
what
went
do you mean
through.
about the eye thing? Is there something? What is that about that eye? That's so.
What?
I mean, besides the fact that it's iconic, I don't. I like. I don't. Is there a backstory to it? Do you know it?
Hmm. I mean, other than like,
I mean, it's a metaphor, obviously.
I mean, yes, like, I mean, is there a backstory to what happened to the actor? Yeah, like, but
No, no. Like when? Oh, why he was wearing just one eyelash?
yeah, I mean, that's I mean, to my knowledge, the one eyelash is done for a visual perspective for it to look like the monocle.
Oh, I see. All right, so like he's like the leader
Yeah, like,
because he's the smartest one.
yeah,
You know, also, like, I mean, if we got, I mean, if we like, break it down like film wise too, like as a metaphor, then like that could also be like the dichotomy between him changing from one person and into another.
yeah. Like, I mean, in this story, you see the transition of what was the main character's name? I forget.
Alex,
Huh? Alex?
Alex, yeah,
Yeah. So Alex, you can really see his transition.
Malcolm Malcolm McDowell, who fucking nails that shit too. I mean, like,
So good.
no one would even have cast Malcolm McDowell after, like, but like seriously, I mean, he might have made like a movie or something like there, but dude,
Yeah, he
he
had
was perfectly
Cocoon.
cast as Alex, as the main character, and he had it, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
Cocoon,
He
Cocoon,
had Cocoon.
dude, I haven't seen. I was. Oh, what? Oh, I haven't seen Cocoon in forever.
Yeah, I know. No one
Oh,
has.
Let's revisit that one. Oh shit. No, that's more for the podcast. Oh wait, but this is a podcast. Whatever. Yeah, we could do that. Fuck it. Let's talk about
I haven't seen Cocoon in forever. Yeah, because no one has really. I mean,
that no one talks about. The movie nobody talks about.
no one talks about that. But
But
like honestly,
everyone knows what it is. It's like,
but
but no one
everyone knows what it is. But it's the only two movies that I can remember fucking Matthew
isn't
McDowell
isn't there a
playing.
sequel? There's a sequel too, right?
Like those are the only two big
Cocoon
movies
2.
that I can remember him from.
Cocoon 2. Anyways. Anyways, all right. So yeah, it's fucking Malcolm McDowell fucking slaying it. There I don't really remember anybody else.
Like no,
Like
no, but
no iconic actors
I
at all.
don't remember them as like um as the actors, but I do, I mean the performances were top notch. In all the performances on Clockwork Orange were top notch. Done.
The only I there is a really good one that sticks out in my head though. That is when he is being brought into like he's been arrested and he's being thrown in there and he's in his tidy whities and it's the sergeant that's like he's like slapping him on the leg with a fucking baton and shit.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
I bet that was like an actual person too, man. Anyways, like an actual person that did that before. They're like, oh, well, you're way too good at this. You know, you should probably be in this movie.
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, the story, the characters, the performances were fucking ridiculously amazing. Like they're just great.
And I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
and then like you can get into like the more visual aspect of it, like from the cinematography to the production design is just so on point. Just so on point. It's like everything, even like the costumes of the individuals make the world eerie and they match with the world itself. Okay.
You know what's fucked up about this? Oh, can we talk about the costumes for a second?
Sure.
um, I mean, iconic, A, but B, it's like when you're watching them, oh no, like I think like, all right, when you see how the gang dresses or the what are they called again? Droogs. When you see how the Droogs dress, and I don't think the term Droog is actually like pertaining to his own team. Of course it is because it's coming from his narrative. But like when you see like the term Droog, I feel like in this attaché of dystopian universe that these fucks all call their own, underlings Droogs. And so it's just like a term of endearment, question mark. But yeah, like when they all dress like gangs. So it's like gang warfare. And in a lot of ways, I think that this was one of the movies that gave birth to, sorry, I got Motel Hall going on here. One of the movies that the movie The Warriors is like spurned from that in a lot of ways because The Warriors came out first, and then this movie came out later on, in which case it's not necessarily an attack on anything else, but it was a book before this, correct? And in which case I think it was like translated from Russian? Question mark.
I think
Also
so.
probably it might. I mean, might actually portend to why the character's name is Alex. That's a very, very common
Yeah.
version.
No. I mean, the costumes have a lot
Maybe
to
I'm wrong.
do.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know. I'm speculating. I need a
I
uh
I've
allegedly.
always, those fucking stupid ass like cock covers that they have in the fucking movie.
Oh yeah. No. They're
Okay.
wearing the fucking yeah, well they're wearing a sports package
Yeah. Okay.
that
Like,
has that does not carry a cup, obviously, because when he twats his own boy with his cane, it like knocks his fucking willy, right? And he's like, and he doubles over the big guy, and then he kicks the other guy in there and slices his hand. He's trying to get up. It's his proof point. And I was like, well, why are they wearing these jock supporters unless there's like a cup under there? You know, like I never understood that part. Never understood that part.
So I've always think it's like, man, like these guys are dicks.
Oh, there's another metaphor. This movie is full of metaphors, by the way.
Like I think
I'd
that
like
like
as
I
long
think that
as we're
they are as
still alive, we'll
broken
never
as
be
the
able to break this movie
society.
down.
Okay. Like my belief is this is how it rolls.
Right.
They're as broken as society.
They're just idiots.
Society
There's
breaks
there's
them.
some dumbass fucking teenagers just rolling through shit.
Okay.
Right.
Society breaks them. Alex changes.
Yeah. For the better, hopefully. But then
Okay.
he reverts back though.
And it kind of leaves in this ominous, like
Is that
really
in the book? Do you know if
vague.
that's in the book? Do you know if that's in the
I have
book? If
no
he
idea.
actually, yeah, no, I didn't read the book.
I have no idea.
My cousin did, and she was like sitting there like schooling me about it, and she was like, "Yeah, but then this part happens, this part happens." I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I could sit here and like squirrel tree through it, but essentially, this is one of those books that Stanley Kubrick did not like. The author was like, again, like with The Shining, in which case I think is it's the best Stanley Kubrick movie, I think. Yeah,
I think it's great.
yeah, and
But
then but yeah, like again, like the author. Well, you can't really ask the author because he was dead, but it's like a takeoff of his novel. But again, it's like nothing close. Well, I mean, you take liberties, I guess, with the story, but it's like, oh, original story written by this guy. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. What's the screenplay like? It's like, yeah, nah, there's a bunch of avatars. It's
well, I think
um,
that people are under the misconception that it's the book posted up on the fucking wall, you know,
it
or
might
the
be.
screen. Like it's two different things.
Yeah. No, I mean, like when I
It's
was even
like
saying this too, is that
two
like
pieces of art and it's like two people's interpretation of the same content. Okay. And it's not just two people, it's many different peoples.
yeah, well, that's one of the things I was saying too, is that like the fact that it's like I think that this the dystopian universe or whatevs that whoever who's the writer. Shit, I don't know. I don't know enough about this to actually like even say like about the novel, but in a dystopian universe, it's like kind of like a very Orwellian thing, and I'm using that term loosely.
Yeah.
Don't attack me for it,
No, no,
but it's
no.
like very Orwellian in a way that where it's like in that time and age, to kind of think about the future and be like, oh well, it's gonna be completely fucked up. There's not gonna be any oil. There's not gonna be any money. And people would be scavengers. That's usually what
Yeah.
dystopian kind of things. And
Yes.
we don't get to see like a whole lot of what occurs around these groups. It's very secluded in a lot
Yeah.
of ways.
And in
So
a lot of ways, it's
yeah,
weird because you're only given these people's world. There's
yeah.
not a lot of people.
I think there's like a mall where they're selling popsicles and Beethoven music. Uh,
Yeah.
he's got a big gigantic snake. I don't see anything about like the streets, like what
But
what
there are
happens
not
from that place to that
many
place. Yeah.
people. There are not many people in the film, which is fine.
I mean, it's like what you don't see. I don't know. Like these are like their safe havens, but like you could just do like an artist rendering and be like, oh, here's what the streets look like. And I think like the only part that you actually see that is when they travel outside of said town or they're like walking along that riverbank. That's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't see any outside anything.
No. Like there really
So
is.
like it's up to your imagination to decide what their urban life is like.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, and here's what, and it's Kubrick is very good at creating that world, that that allure of the it's a ghost town. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was
Then,
well, I mean, like, well, you can even tell this with like any of his movies. It's always very secluded, you know. It always makes you feel a little bit paranoid, you know, like the walls are coming in, you know.
yeah.
Like now, like what was the carpet in the fucking Shining is like, I want a fucking sweater of that so that people see it and they're like, oh, now I feel alone. It's like, yeah, no, you just remember that movie and the way it made you feel. But it's also like it just stares at it, you know? Like Kubrick has this a way of just like weaving a tale. And with A Clockwork Orange, you know, like given what he knew about that book, which obviously affected him like greatly, like he was able to come back with like a screenplay that was amazing and got the right fucking people for it, and then he
Yeah.
just fucking knocked it out of the park, you know, like a
It
softball.
was really
But
good.
it's like fourth or fifth minute, third minute, third, fourth, I
Like
don't know.
really good cinematography, awesome pacing. Like I think that that's one of the greatest things about A Clockwork Orange
It's all of his
is
movies are pacing, man.
is like I mean
What's the best
cinematography is
pacing
great
Kubrick,
and
best Kubrick
performance is
pacing
great,
movie? 2010. 2001.
but all of them have this like tension slash pacing that's like almost yet perfectly uncomfortable.
Hmm. Oh, I like that term.
You
Perfect.
know, it's like right at the line where it's uncomfortable, and then
Yeah, and then just like you just
and you
take a breath.
almost feel like you didn't even feel the uncomfort pass so quickly
Yeah.
that you're already like past and in the future of in the present moment of that film.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Kubrick
But
does that fucking in spades.
you're yet to experience another uncomfortable moment.
Yeah. Well, that's the other part too, is that like when what I was saying too about like, and you're saying about the spacing is like it's all about that soundtrack that's like not there. But then you get like these anthems like Singing in the Rain, and like to me it's a lot like Pomp and Circumstance, you know, like, you know, the graduation song or whatever. Like when I hear it, I think of Macho Man, you know, oh yeah, you know, but like that was what he used to come out to. It was the graduation song. But then like when I hear Singing in the Rain, I'm not thinking of fucking, you know, asshole spinning on a fucking lamppost or anything like that. I'm thinking of, oh, that guy's gonna fucking slam that girl with all of his boys around. It's gonna like rape that woman and kill her. So it's like it's little pneumatic things, you know. But and again, like that's how iconic this movie is. And it's not me that's making this up. Like that's a part that happens in this movie.
It's
And
very
like
funny.
to even
Like,
like when you describe it to people, like, could you think you could get away with a movie like this? Hell yeah. Is anyone gonna see it? No. It's probably gonna be like a very like indie label, like, like under the radar. No one's ever gonna fucking push your movie because you're not part of Scientology.
I mean,
Danny
that's like
Masterson, I'm looking at you. Sorry.
it's man, it's a really
Yeah,
like
rapist. Prick.
look, man, there's something about the colorization of that film
Hmm.
that they did that made it so like rememberable, memorable, rememberable.
Remember,
Yeah. Memorable.
remember.
Like even to the point of that it's like even the posters are fucking iconic. Like that
Yeah, dude.
orange.
Yo, seriously, like I don't want to, give up the ghost too quick, but I almost lost my shit. And I usually don't lose my shit, but I almost lost my shit because I thought that I lost my Clockwork Orange VHS before we got on the camera. But hey, crisis averted. Your boy found Clockwork Orange on VHS.
That's
You're not
cool.
clapping. You're not clapping, Nick. You want to see it?
Um Anywho, Okay.
You could show
So
me yours.
no, but everything is
No,
really
I'm,
memorable
I'm
about
good.
this
I'm good.
film.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
You
good.
know,
Yeah, words are
the other
valuable.
thing that is really I always remember the dancing Jesus.
Oh, at the
Yeah.
end. Oh wait, hold on, hold on. Don't you have like another bullet on your bullet list before we get to the end?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
several. I have sound and music, like which I believe that the whole concept of scoring films has kind of changed, and we're doing more soundtracking and the scoring is what you're can have been consistently talking about. Okay, which Kubrick is especially genius at creating a great scoring of a film that almost puts you in a frame of mind of like an exact moment of in time. What the fuck are you doing?
No, it's like legit, like what it is. Like, I mean, like, sometimes what even the Coen brothers use this too. There's a movie called No Country for Old Men, and my mom made a really cool joke, and you'd love my mom, you know. But she made a really cool joke where she was like, "Oh, you'd love the soundtrack for No Country for Old Men." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, so, what's that all about? Okay, all right, yeah, let's hear the soundtrack." And then like we go watch the movie, and there's no music at all. Like there's not even any music in that entire film. And I was like, and I was like, Mom, thought you said I'd like the soundtrack. She's like, yeah, no, didn't, no one played anything. And I was like, you know what? You get me? Like, all we were hearing is sound effects and dialogue. So yeah, no, I definitely like it's and again, like, you know, as a musician too, like from like way back in the day. I mean, I'm not a musician anymore, but like from like way back in the day, like somebody used to tell me it's like it's not the notes you play, it's the notes that you don't play. I'm like, oh, you're asking me how to play. Alright, cool. But also like there's a story that's trying to be told through music, you know, so like
Yeah.
you know,
Which,
yeah.
like, look, you can use the music to your ability. You know what? There's other
Let the
filmmakers,
bodies hit the floor. Oh no, different movie. Sorry.
but there's other filmmakers that use
Sidetracked it.
silence. I'll bring up, Scorsese to that, is a genius of silence.
Yeah, no, yeah, Scorsese's fucking sick. That was
Okay.
oh, also uh Kubrick.
Yeah.
So what was
Oh,
the
you know who's not so much genius of sound and music?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
Who?
Who? I don't know.
Nolan
Oh,
had an
hey,
issue
hey,
with
I want
sound and music. Anyway, man, he's got some real issues. That's what I feel like in a Nolan movie. Anyway, so we got one more thing we're gonna go into, and it's gonna be the two most important areas of a film, the start and the ending. So, Evan, what do you think of the start of the movie, and what do you think of the end of Clockwork Orange? No one can hear you. No one can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, anyways, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, wait. I was a very Shakespearean film, in which case I would say, like, in a lot of ways, it's 5 acts. So you have 5 acts. So you say to yourself, okay, numero uno, you're introducing your main character. So you got your cold open and you have your narrator. And he's like sitting there saying shit like, well, this is a fucked up world. Yeah. Sort of like, whatever, who cares? And then you start to actually kind of understand where this fucker is. But he's the head of a hooligan gang in the future, a dystopian future, and you start to find out a little bit more about when they actually defeat another crew of guys. I think Billy Bob, and he's wearing camo and all them, and they try to rape this woman, and they stop them from raping the women or that woman. But then they go and rape another woman. So like you're not like your protagonists are not like they're sketchy. You know what I mean? They're not like the kind of protagonist that you want on your team. And then he's telling you everything that's happening, but he's telling it through like code. It's like, oh my droogs, they're so awful. They're so lovely. And it's like, I think he's kind of in love with his own guts. you know? And so I guess that whole like ultraviolet, and then he talks about, and then we get into the ultraviolet. So then um to me that kind of like sat like a little bit where it's like the narration itself is what draws me to it, because it's not just like you don't get to see anyone else's thought patterns. So you're not omnipresent, you're not shifting between and characters, in which case that's a very big point for writing too. And when you're writing, you don't want to like be shifting perspective, from one person to another. You want to have like either first person, third person. You don't want second person, because the second person is just like a non-player character. It's like an NPC. Like it doesn't exist. So, but if you're like saying like, well, omnipresent, we're looking at this person's thing from this person's thing from this person's thing. It's like, well, if we're looking at all these people's different perspectives, they all have to round up in the end, right? That's how storytelling's gone. In this one, we don't have to fucking worry about that. We're listening to Alex this entire time. Like we're in his headphones. Like that's our boy. And that's our protagonist. And he's fucked up, man. And the more you try to identify with this character, you start to realize that he's just in a fucked up world. Like there are people much worse out there or just as bad. And to kind of gauge yourself on that is weird, but there's also that Jesus allegory, and that's
I
in there.
think that I okay, so when it comes to the start and the end of the film, which I tend to be on the side like if there's no evolution in the character, then it straight up sucks. Okay.
Yeah, you need the
That's a,
character arc.
that's a bullshit movie. Okay. If you can't get a good character arc. Okay.
Yeah, at least have a
So
story arc. I mean, I could
so
give a fuck less about subsidiary characters, but I mean, if it's that guy's narrative, it's like give him an arc, and this has
but
it in
and
spades,
for
dude.
that I give a Clockwork Orange such a like an applause. Okay, in a sense, because um it opens you up, okay, and it really shows you a couple of things, okay. It's totally immerses you into Alex's mind as a broken individual, okay,
By
but at the
society
same
too,
time
but yeah,
really
it's broken
evil.
psychologically, but it's like but like you even look at it as like his home life.
Yeah, like really broken and really evil, okay. and they pull you through this really broken society. Okay. And it's
You'd say
only
you could actually postulate that you could, actually use the argument that Alex is an anti-hero in a lot of ways.
he is, but he's a byproduct of this broken society. Okay. But
Well, he is a villain. That's
but
true.
the way that you're able to see the contrast of when he makes that character arc is only through the opening that you're shown how evil he is.
And he wants a quick
So
way out.
so when he changes and you realize that, oh, there's so many other broken fucks in this society that Kubrick has shown you, okay, that it's really the whole span of thing. When you see him trying to be that better person or whatever, you look and you were started out as him being this evil, sadistic fuck. Okay. It's so contrasting and such a smooth but jarring transition.
Yeah, like that was one of the things I was thinking too. Like when, like even at the beginning too, when he's like talking about the ultra violence shit, like
Yeah.
it's like we want the ultra violence. It's like, well, what's regular violence, you know? Um, and then like they beat the shit out of that homeless Irishman.
Yeah.
It's like fuck. It's like, man,
Exactly.
these fucking
They
kids are
do
weird, man.
some really fucked up sadistic shit. And so
Yeah.
like
Oh, and then fucking Alex boy, he rapes that woman and
yeah,
beats her to death with a dildo,
yeah,
ceramic dildo.
they break into that couple's house and they fuck him up and like all this different shit happens that he does. Like he does some really evil stuff. And so like you're opened up with like you're opened up in the story, him talking about ultra violence, okay? Them getting
Yeah.
fucked up
And
and
like,
all
and
that.
that's the other part about this too, is that you don't even know if that motherfucker's like been raping women this entire time
Yeah,
with
well,
his
he
boys,
has.
like,
He
yeah, like
has.
that's the thing.
Like
So it's like,
there, I mean, I always look at like a film as like a snippet in time out of a larger thing.
yeah.
Okay, so you have to
I'm sure
contextualize.
that, I mean, it's not like that shit's around anymore, but like if something like that was made today, it would like speak to so many people and they'd be like, oh man, that guy deserves an Oscar, whatever. It's like, yeah, but he's dead. It's like,
Yeah. But anyway, my point is that transition is so fucking great. And like the ending, the way that he kind of ends as a, you could say a better individual, okay? A better
mm,
piece of society, you could easily say. And because of that, and you transition from this
it's
like
questionable. It's
rapist,
questionable.
killer, fucking ultra
I mean, I
violent.
feel like I feel like his parents were very questionable because they were like stooges, like they're just like, oh, we just try to fit in so that we can fit into this one apartment. It's like fuck, And they're like, oh no, Alex, no, we're going to be sending your warden officer over to see you and grab your nuts.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really
yeah,
fucked up.
so very
But I
frightening.
think
But
the idea is that like he's twisted, but he's broken by society. Okay,
mm,
and
yeah,
society is controlled by the government.
yeah.
Okay,
For now.
and he's like like kind of trying to be a better person or becomes a stooge.
Well, I don't think he's ever.
Yeah, he definitely makes a transition at the end.
Was
Oh,
being in school and shit. Yep. But they all looked like they were about like 25, 29.
you're like camera froze. Your camera froze. Bummer. We'll see if it snaps back here. Can you hear me? Peoples, it seems like we lost Evan. Evan is Crash. Crash Evan. Evan Crash Crash. Anyway, peoples, so that was a pretty much the end of our episode. I want to thank you for joining us here at Villainous Cinema. My name is Nick Valdez. Oh, and Evan is back here. I was just closing up the episode, brother. Because we're pretty much finished up. But since you're back, we'll chat a little longer. Evan, you're on mute, bro.
Man. Yeah, I'm on mute.
I can hear you now.
Here. And hey.
I can hear you. But your video is you're kind of back. I see you. You're kind of moving. Hey. Anyway, peoples, so I guess it looks like Evan's having some technical issues. But I wanted to thank you so much for joining us here on the very first breakdown. I know it was a little bit rocky, but it was, just a pilot episode. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more of these in the future. And just want to thank you for joining us at Villainous Cinema Movie Breakdown. Laters.